Hello, everybody. Welcome to the latest episode of Behind the Camera with AndyGames. This is the podcast where I interview streamers and content creators with the sole purpose of getting to know the person behind the camera. Today, we have the mighty Ryan. Ryan is a very good friend of mine. We've known each other for a very, very long time. So, Ryan, it is lovely to have you on the pod. How are you doing?
I'm all right. Thanks for having me.
No, of course,
Yeah,
of course.
good to finally get on.
Yeah, oh, well, sorry, there was a bit of it. Sorry, there was a bit of a fucking queue,
Scheduling difficulties.
Yeah, on your part, not mine.
Oh, no, I know.
So yeah, as I say, me and Ryan have known each other for about 12 years. We went to university together. So based on that alone, it's kind of hard to interview your mate. It's hard to interview somebody you've known on a personal level for about 12 years. So just before we get into this, I put into Discord a little thing for podcast questions, a little channel for podcast questions, just, for if there's anything that the community wants to know about the specific people that I'm interviewing. Because sometimes it can be hard for me doing this, especially when it's somebody you know for so long. Oh my God. First of all, fuck you guys. Oh my God. The absolute carnage. Like the first thing, so I put in this message. The first thing that comes back was how serious these questions need to be. I'm like, well, yeah, of course they need to be serious. And then now the actual question that this was based on has been deleted, which is a shame because I would have liked to have read it out. It was definitely something about shoving something up your arse and how big was it and did it hurt. And I was like, what the fuck, man? Are you serious?
Three times. It was.
Well, I mean, at least we're getting an answer. This is the fucking exclusive.
Well, you should know.
Should I?
Not told Claire yet, have you? No.
Well,
But that one time.
There's a time for everything. I was waiting until after we were married, just so so we could seal the deal first.
Oh, lock it down, yeah.
Exactly, lock it down. So yeah, that was kind of an interesting experience trying to put into Discord. Anything people wanted to know, and then my good friend Logan, who I've interviewed on this podcast before. His question was, what's it like having a brother who is also into streaming and online content creation, positives and negatives? That's a fantastic question, but the only issue is Ryan isn't my brother. And then followed that up with, how long has he played guitar for? Favorite song to play and why? And first song or riff he learned. Again, a great question. If Ryan played guitar. It turned out he was getting confused with somebody else who we had rated out to in Logan's stream, a guy called Louis865, top guy, and he was playing guitar. And Ryan, you don't really look like him, but there's the beard there.
Yeah,
but
fair.
You're not.
Fair.
But he's like Scottish as fuck in like a really class way, and you're not. So there's a distinct difference.
Yeah.
But
right,
so that kind of did turn into like a little bit of a shit show, but at least it's made for an interesting introduction to this episode anyway.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so yeah, Ryan, let's get started. So yeah, obviously, like I say, we've known each other for a long time, and for that entire time, I know that you've been into gaming. So how much further back than that, since our like uni days, how much further back than that does it go? And then how did that then bring you into making the transition from just casual gaming to casual streaming?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I just want to say I feel like an absolute outsider here because, well, not an outsider, maybe like an anomaly because I think I'm like the first guest on here that isn't like a Super Mario runner or anything like that.
Yes, that's actually
So I
that's
feel
actually true.
very out of place at the minute.
This is my variety streaming.
Oh yeah, this is the one. Yeah, so I mean, if I go way back when I was a kid, I think the first console we had was a maybe Sega Mega Drive, I want to say.
Shit.
Was never really a Nintendo kind of person, so wouldn't have, even to this day, I haven't really played a whole lot of Mario, even or anything like, there's games I've never played a Zelda game.
You don't want to be honest.
Fair enough. So I would have played like Sonic back in the day. That would have been my kind of go-to back then. But whenever, like, 'cause obviously I knew this kind of question was coming, and I sat and had to think about it, and I was like, apart from that, I don't remember doing a whole lot of gaming in my kind of childhood. Other
Mhm.
than that, like the Sega Mega Drive was about it. Maybe for, let's say, maybe since it was like maybe 4 or 5,
Oh wow.
and then but then again, it was like maybe from the age like 6 to maybe 9 or 10. Didn't really do much gaming, I don't think.
No, you're right. Touching grass.
I think yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean a lot of my friends when I was a kid were like all in the street and lived the next street over or whatever, so I was always out and about with them as well.
From the streets. I
But
love how like
from the
a lot of
streets,
my
from the
friends
from
came
the
from the
hood.
streets. We grew up in the fucking
from
ghetto.
from 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 the hood.
All the hoods.
The main streets of West Belfast. You don't know, you never been there. Uh, yeah, I think my dad would have done a bit of gaming back then. He does absolutely no gaming these days, but I remember him playing like COD 2
Oh
or
wow, yeah.
on the PC, and would have played Counter Strike 1.6. So I would have had a go at those
All
as
right.
well. And I remember Medal of Honor game as well back then. I think the first time when I was younger that I tried to play a game, I think it was the first Halo game. I tried to get it on PC, and our PC was an absolute pile of shit back then. And I think, if I remember correctly, I had to buy more RAM to
Fucking
try
hell.
and get it to run. And then I bought more RAM. I think that my dad would have uh, put it into the PC, and then loaded up the game and realized that it bought like the wrong version of it. I think it
Oh
was like
Jesus.
location locked or something like that, so I couldn't play it
Fuck
anyway.
me.
So it was an absolute shambles. Um, I think jumping from there, I think whenever I actually started playing games properly, and was probably there was a Christmas. I can't remember what age I would have been at that point, but I didn't ask for it. But my parents got me the original Xbox,
Ah yes.
and it was the cool crystal one, the see through one.
Yeah. Oh, they were
Yeah,
tight. I love the
yeah.
see-through
So
ones on like
that's
any console.
yeah, yeah. It was great, and that was it. That was the kind of the catalyst for everything.
Mm.
Yeah, started playing. I can't remember. I think I might have got whenever I got that. I think I had Sonic, and maybe I want to say there was a GoldenEye Rogue Agent, something like that,
Oh
on
yes, yeah. That was the
Xbox.
one that was like on Xbox and PS2, I think.
Yeah, yeah. So I think I had that, and I think it was maybe Sonic Heroes. Whenever I first got that, there was maybe like 2 or 3 games that I got with it, and they were kind of like my bread and butter for a while.
Uh,
And then obviously it starts moving. You get a wee bit older, starts moving into Call of Duty, and that was the thing. Like me and my brother played a lot of Call of Duty, like COD 4 especially.
mhm.
We played a hell of a lot of that. It was ridiculous. Have you played much Call of Duty yourself at all?
Like I think I played Modern Warfare when I
Right.
was like I must have been maybe 14 or 15,
Yeah.
like on the 360, going through like I think I got like halfway through the story mode and was like, fuck, this is shit. I was playing it on fucking easy mode
I
as well. And
yeah.
I
Well,
was
I
just
mean
like, I
that's
can't
that'll
be
probably do it
fucking
as well.
ass with this, man.
Easy mode's nothing.
I know, but
But
I was shit at it.
yeah, I suppose. Yeah, you usually are.
Thank you. Yeah, exactly. I know I'm not amazing at first person shooters, but it's not to say I don't enjoy them, just not Call of Duty.
Yeah.
I'm still shit at them.
Obviously, as you say, obviously that was moving on to the Xbox 360.
Mm-hmm.
It was COD 4 and stuff like that. So moved on to that. Yeah, we played Call of Duty 4 a hell of a lot, and me and my brother and a couple of his friends would play it so much that we played, Search and Destroy on there.
It rings a
Basically,
bell. I couldn't tell you what it is, but it rings a bell.
basically two bomb sites. One team has to go and try and plant the bomb. The other team has to stop them or defuse the bomb once they've
Oh
planted
yeah,
it.
kind of like
But
kind of like King of the Hill type sort of thing.
kind
Yeah.
of. There was those game modes as well in there,
Ah.
and like capture the flag and that kind of thing. Um, but we played it so much that we used to line up with every person would have a grenade launcher on their guns,
Oh.
and we all knew that as soon as we spawned into the round, we knew exactly where we had to shoot our grenade at the start of the round to hit their spawn. So it used to be every round, at least one of us was getting like 3 or 4 kills at the
Fucking
start of every round.
sweats. You fucking
Yeah, it was
sweats.
disgusting. Yeah, it was absolutely disgusting.
Oh my
Um,
god, that's almost as bad as campers.
yeah, I mean,
Almost there.
it's one way to deal with them at least.
Well, yeah, true. Maybe it's like the sort of, the sweaty response to campers.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, so my thing's usually been Xbox. I mean,
Yeah.
we had a PlayStation 2. Wouldn't have done too much gaming on that. Probably, actually, to be fair, one of my favorite games of all time was on PS2. That was Time Splitters 2.
Oh man.
What
Unreal.
a game!
Unreal.
What a game!
So cheesy and dumb, but
Um,
it's fucking great.
oh no, it's great. I used to just sit and play Virus. If you remember that.
Very vaguely, very vaguely. I do have the game
Yeah.
actually. I haven't played it. It's one of those ones that I bought when I started like collecting PS2 games a couple of years back,
Hmm.
and like I was like, I need to play this, and then just
Oh,
it's been
it's
sitting
great.
there on my shelf for 2 years.
Yeah,
But
I'd
yeah,
highly
I remember
recommend
it
it.
being such a good game
It's
though. This is going back about 20 years now since I've like properly played it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, times there's
Yeah, that was fantastic. So we had a PS1 actually as well. We probably would have played FIFA quite a bit on that.
of
And
course
that's I mean that's a
that's
staple
a
in my
that's a given.
library.
Yeah, that's a given. Like
I've been playing FIFA since like FIFA 2002, I think,
I
probably.
yeah, I think I don't know. Have I ever beat you at FIFA? I don't.
I'm
I
sure you have.
maybe
I'm sure
like you could probably count on one hand the amount of times because oh my fucking god! Like so, for those listening, sorry to like interrupt, cut you off here, but like for those
No,
listening,
it's all good.
um, back in our uni days, Ryan and I would have played like a lot of FIFA. It was right. He'd have had his Xbox up. We'd have played FIFA. Probably would have been anything from FIFA 12 up to 15.
Yeah, sounds about right.
And my god, and like it got to the point where like I just could not do anything. I could not beat Ryan at all. Maybe score a couple of goals, like maybe get like 2-0 up and I was on a streak, and then I would just lose it. I just lose my fucking marbles and then lose about 7-2. And this was back in the days whenever, like, I don't know if people will remember this, but people did like the apology rules where it was like if you lost by 5 goals, it was like a Facebook apology, and then it went kind of absolutely nuts. And I think it went up to like 20,
Yeah.
and 20 was other person was never allowed to play FIFA ever again, or that version of it. And
Yeah.
I made like a lot of those apologies, like I did. So
Yeah, I'm sure you could probably fish some out on Facebook if
oh,
you really needed
100%,
to.
probably cancelable, but
Yeah.
so there was one time, I think this was in like, maybe my final year or whatever, it doesn't matter, at some point in university anyway,
Yeah.
playing FIFA. And I'm kind of like, right, I'm going to go the best teams in the game and you go one of the worst. So we went Barcelona versus Derry City. I was Barcelona, Ryan was Derry City. I got fucking beat 1-0. Like, what?
I mean, it could have been worse. Could have been worse.
I don't think it could have. It doesn't. If you lose 1-0 as Barcelona to Derry City, you might as well have lost 6.
Yeah,
That is
no, that's
genuinely. But yeah, sorry. Just when you mentioned FIFA, like I kind of feel like I had to bring that up. I had to get that off my chest.
yeah.
That's been sitting on my
I
chest.
was gonna
That's been
say it's a
sitting
touchy
there
subject
for about fucking 10 years now. That I've needed to
Yeah.
just yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry. Carry on. So like yeah,
Yeah.
FIFA. From like
Yeah.
from PS1
PS1,
days.
PS2. Yeah. PS2. Through the Xbox 360, and Xbox 360 is when it ramped up again in terms of my screen time.
Mm.
Yeah, with, as I say, with Call of Duty. To be honest, I can't even remember what else I played on there. I definitely played other games. I had loads, but Call of Duty was the big one.
Yeah.
And then yeah, talking about uni days, I think it was maybe 2015, maybe 2014, end of 2014. Xbox One came out.
Yep.
Got that. Started playing bits, whatever was available at the time. I'm pretty sure I got it. I still have it. It's downstairs. It's the original Xbox One from pretty much release day,
Oh shit.
maybe release week at least.
Yeah.
Um,
Fair play.
so I had that. I got whatever couple of games were available at the time. I think there might have been an Assassin's Creed.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say Syndicate or something like that.
Could have been, yeah.
It was at the time. What I think it was the one that was set in England. Um, so played a bit of that. Whatever else I could, and then to bring it back to the question where things turned into streaming.
Mm-hmm.
So Twitch brought in, well, I suppose Xbox brought in Twitch integration
Ah, I
to the
see.
Xbox, so you
Yeah.
could stream directly from the Xbox to Twitch.
Yeah.
So you didn't need webcam, you didn't need a PC or anything. Obviously, you just hit a button on the Xbox and you were away. And that's when it started. My first ever stream was I'm pretty sure it was Alien Isolation, and
That's a good one.
what
That's
a
a good one.
game! What a
That is a
game
good,
I've
yeah.
had.
That's actually something I do want to play myself, but that's a good one to
Yeah,
stream because like regardless of whether you've played it or not before or just seen it, it's always going to be jump scare you because you never know.
yeah,
It's completely like reactive to
yeah.
your own actions, which is like kind of cool. So like yeah, because I remember when you started streaming, was it just a case of like one day you were kind of like, ah, fuck it, let's give this a go, see what happens.
Pretty much. Yeah, yeah. I mean, before then, I'd never really spent too much time watching streams on
Mm,
Twitch. It was just kind of, yeah, let's give it a go and see
yeah,
see what happened. But it was
yeah.
good. I think at the time, actually, to say that, I think at the time I might have started watching someone on Twitch who was playing Alien Isolation as well,
Hmm.
and I enjoyed that content. So I was like, I've got that game. Xbox can do this. Yeah, let's just
Yeah,
see what happens.
yeah. It's always like a good way to get into it by that, like just sort of seeing you, you see somebody else doing it, and you're just kind of like, yeah, I
Yeah,
think I would like to do that. And I think like back then, 10 years ago, that was like a totally different time. I don't really feel like a lot of people got into streaming because they thought it was going to be like a full-time gig at the time. It was kind of like,
no,
this just looks like a lot of fun because I remember like even in the later days of high school, like people would have started like bought like capture cards and they would have recorded like all their Call of Duty stuff and uploaded it to like YouTube and stuff just because I never fucking understood any of that. Like, but
no.
some
I think I couldn't do YouTube. I don't think I could do YouTube at all. It's like it's a whole different world over there.
yeah,
Like I
it's hard to
I
break
don't
into.
I don't have the patience to do editing on videos and stuff like that. I've done a couple and
Mm.
they took a couple of hours and I was like, not for me, not for me.
Yeah, no, I feel that editing's like if you want, it depends on how like flashy you want to make it.
Yeah.
If you want to have like all of these like transitions and effects and stuff, it's like nah, balls to this. Like I just like the way I do it is just go to point A, delete this little bit, go to point B,
Cut.
delete this little bit. There we go.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean I'm pretty sure a lot of my early YouTube stuff is literally just the VODs
Yeah, just easier.
from straight. I'm pretty sure I've deleted quite a few of them as well. Probably around a couple of years ago. I think it was
Mm.
during COVID actually because there was a lot of DMCA stuff happening
Oh
during
yeah, yeah,
COVID because they weren't making money any other way, so they were really cracking down on it because no one was going to concerts,
of
and
course.
so their
Yeah,
attention turned to streamers who were playing music on
yeah.
stream.
Like of course there are ways
So
around
there's
that
a
now, but like it's pain in the hole.
yeah, you can never be too sure though. Like a lot of
Mm.
people around then, a lot of people were getting caught out
Yeah.
with it, and it was they were actually doing um they had some tool that would scan your like clips your old clips. So it didn't even have to be what you were streaming at the time when you were
Yeah.
live. They were looking at your old clips and saying, was there music playing in those? So at the time, so this would have been like right at the start of COVID, like 2020. A lot of people, and myself included, were just blitzing their entire clip history. They were like absolutely no clips on their channels,
Yeah.
and then people were turning off the ability to even clip,
Oh
so that
wow.
they couldn't get. Yeah, yeah. It was a bad time for streaming
Oh,
or
so
COVID.
it's okay. That actually kind of makes sense because like I looked back through my clips a few weeks ago, and it said something like "clip by Twitch Auto Clipper." Is that what that is? Something like that.
Twitch auto
It
clipper?
was
No,
something like
I
that. Might
don't
not have
think
been the
so.
exact name of it, but it was like a weird
No,
auto
so it
clip
wouldn't.
thing.
It wouldn't have been Twitch themselves that were scanning things.
Oh, right, okay.
It would have been like people that people who
Like
do
record
copyright
record labels and
strikes
shit
and
like
whatever.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, right. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Something different
yeah. The people who would end up
then.
reporting the clips to Twitch to say that they're
Gotcha.
copyright content
Oh,
or
okay.
whatever.
Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah.
But they had tools that would go through the old videos and old VODs and old
Uh-huh.
clips and go through them to see if there would be any music in
Mhm.
there.
Mm.
And then, but yeah, people were just like, I'm not taking any risks, and just delete the entire, like basically their entire video history on
It
Twitch.
makes sense, especially if it's like their bread and butter, like
Yeah,
So yeah, so obviously, like I remember. Do you remember when you started streaming? Like you were more or less streaming out of your bedroom in university in third year, literally just
yeah,
sitting on your bed
yeah.
playing FIFA or whatever else. I remember, and like a lot of people won't know this, but I definitely was in one of your streams one time. I forgot actually about this until recently. We were chatting about it. So then, how did you go from there to PC gaming? I know obviously you still do Xbox through Game Pass on PC, but like obviously
Yeah,
your setup now is like you've gone from console to PC. So how did like that
yeah.
transition come about?
So, in terms of just the gaming alone, or the specifically streaming,
Both.
or what, or both?
Just yeah, just both.
I've always had a console, but I've always been a PC gamer at heart.
Mm-hmm.
As I say, when I was younger, I played a lot of Counter Strike growing up as well. Um, would have played, well, nothing like competitive. I would have been too young to play anything competitively, really.
Yeah.
But I would have played CS. I was always comfortable with keyboard and mouse. Um, and obviously years of console, got comfortable with the controller as well. But the aim was always to get back to PC gaming. Once I was playing Xbox enough, and I was playing it for years, and I was like, console's good and all, but I always had the itch to play on PC
Mm-hmm.
and get back to Counter Strike and that kind of thing. It was. I guess there was a bit of a nostalgic feel to it as well.
Yeah, for sure.
But um, so that all came about. Basically, getting back to the PC was, so it was on Xbox One. I was streaming um, Rainbow Six Siege was one of the big ones I played on there. So this is around the time I was actually part of an esports org in Belfast called Nuclear Storm Gaming. I think they're called Belfast Storm now.
Yeah. Do you know, I was trying to
Um,
remember what that was because I remember
yeah,
you had that's like it. You changed like your online presence at the time. I was trying to
yeah,
remember what the acronym was at the end of your thing, but yeah, Nuclear Strike came in NSG.
yeah. So I've been through a couple of them. Before Nuclear Storm Gaming, there was one called Intech that I was a streamer for, although that was a bit dead in the water before it even got out. It was some guy. I think he might have been from like Lisburn or Craigavon or something like that. Not that anyone else watching or listening will
Yeah, not that
know
you will
much about
know
these
where that
places,
is,
but
most of you, yeah.
but for Andy's benefit,
somewhere in Northern
let's get,
Ireland
yeah, yeah.
or Ireland,
Message
depending
me
on
on
your.
message me on Twitter and was like, I've seen some of your clips. I think he was maybe friendly with some of the people that I used to play with,
Yeah.
or at least had some sort of mutual friends. He was like, "How would you feel about being a streamer for my new esports org, and I was like, yeah, sure, why not? If it gets my name out a bit more
Yeah,
and
yeah,
whatever, yeah, sounds good. And
yeah.
then I changed it, and this is a bit of advice for other streamers: pick your brand, stick with it, because I've been through uh, well, more name changes than I'd like because of putting these orgs in my Twitch name, and you can't change it very often, so you're sometimes stuck with it. I'm pretty sure when I wanted to leave that Intech one, I had to wait until like I knew that Twitch wasn't gonna let me change my name to NSG until like for another month or so.
Oh
So
fuck
I was
me.
sitting there going, I'm not telling this guy I'm leaving until I can change my name here.
And that was how you broke the news to him, just by just like, oh yeah, look at my name, bye.
to, to be honest,
Oh fuck.
pretty much.
No way.
It was yeah, it was, as I say, it was a bit dead in the water. Like
Yeah.
after that, I think I spoke to him maybe like twice in the space of the following month or two
Jesus.
months, and it was like, I'm streaming with your Brandon, and what are you doing for me?
Yeah.
Like, and that was pretty much it.
Fuck. Yeah,
But
that's
then,
not even like anything. That's just like free promo for somebody. Then
yeah, pretty much. So I was just like, no. But at the same time, what was happening was, um, and to kind of bring it back to, it kind of goes back to reasons for streaming as well. Is that around the time, well, before that Intech stuff happened, um, our good friend Lockie.
oh I lock it,
So I
baby.
found out Locket Baby, yes. I found out that he streamed,
Yeah.
and now me and Connor go way back as well.
Yeah.
Uh, so this was me and Connor were in a band together, and at the time, I think I think we both knew we both gamed. He was always on PC. I was always on Xbox. So I don't think we really talked about it too much, but I think he might have posted on Facebook sometime that he was streaming on
Mhm.
Twitch, and I was like, "What?" But this was like long after. This was like a good while after knowing each other.
Yeah.
I was like, I never knew you did this. I went on. He had nearly 5,000 followers
Oh
and stuff, and I was
shit.
like, "The fuck's going on here?" So I just obviously me and Connor still talking to the other day, and back then that kind of kicked things off again with talking to him, because there was, I think it might have been maybe a year or so after our band kind of stopped,
Mhm.
because it would have been around uni time as
Yeah,
well,
I
and
think it was
our band
around
started
maybe the
our
end of uni
band
that you started with Connor in NSG, or maybe around the time of we around the
yeah,
time we
probably about
finished
that.
roughly.
Yeah, but it was whenever we started uni is whenever we kind of finished with the band, really.
Mhm. Yeah, like I remember.
It was a couple of years after that, a couple of years at least, maybe, that I found out that he streamed, and then
It's weird. That's mad, isn't it?
yeah, it was yeah, it was a weird kind of series of events, but like uh, so yeah, started getting him talking to Connor again, talking about streaming, and that was obviously getting me more interested in it. I was watching him daily because he was streaming Counter Strike, and
Mhm.
again, don't know how many times I've said it now already, but it's Counter Strike was a game I wanted to get back to eventually. Um, I was modding his channel and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then he started talking to the guys from NSG, and then he got in with them, and then I started talking to them too. And I was, because I think a few of them were on Xbox rather than PC. I started playing Rainbow Six Siege with them on Xbox. So there was at least five of us that would play Rainbow Six Siege. So I
Mhm.
started streaming that, and then because I was streaming that with them, it was like, all right, Ran, do you want to be a streamer as well for NSG? And I was like, yes, I would like that very much. So it was me and Connor with the stream too, and there's a cracking video out there somewhere. I don't know if Connor's here or not, but there's a cracking video that me and Connor had to do, basically like an introduction of ourselves for
Oh.
them. But talking on a podcast is one thing, but see when you're trying to record something. It is, and we were in the same room. There's obviously we're
Yeah.
online talking to each other, but me and Connor are in the same room trying to do introductions of ourselves, and it was just the biggest shit show ever. Like just the two of us bursting into laughter because someone stumbled over a word, and that would just set us off for the
Oh,
next 15
fuck.
minutes,
Yeah.
and we could not get this thing done. It was
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Fucking, that's the same thing. Like, imagine us trying to do this in real life.
Oh
It
yeah,
just
no,
wouldn't happen. It just wouldn't
I mean,
happen.
I nearly bust out laughing whenever you were doing the intro.
I know, I could see, and I was like
So,
trying to not look at you because I was like, you motherfucker, I'm trying to do this. This is like the serious bit here. And that there would be like, if one of us had like a voice crack, then it
yeah,
would just, and that was like always a big thing for me, was the voice cracks. Like my voice used to crack all the time, and like I kind of like, for some reason, I don't know if it's a mental thing or not, but whenever I get close to knowing I'm going to have to do some talking, my throat like dries up, and like I get like a bit of a cough, and it's just like, oh my god. And specifically talking to you, I'm
yeah.
literally in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh my god, please don't voice crack, please don't fucking voice crack. So yeah, it's a
It's
good thing
always the
that
way
we're, yeah, always away, 100%. But like, it's interesting you say that, like, talking on a podcast, compared to like recording normally,
Mhm.
because, well, that's partly why I do this live, because there's not really any margin for error. But
Yeah,
at this, in the same vein, if it was like recorded, like offline, I would just be sitting there like, no, I'm not happy with that. I'm not happy with this. Whereas you kind of just have to go with it in the live setting, and
yeah.
it kind of works that way. And
You
it's
get
like,
what you get,
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um,
and you'll
but
be happy with
yeah, fucking better.
it.
I definitely want to find this video though. I'm sure it's out there somewhere. If anybody who is listening to this can find it and send it to me at AndyGames underscore 94, I would be very happy. It would make me a very, very
Yeah.
happy man.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be Lockie. I'm pretty sure he's gonna have them on his Google Drive or
It's gonna,
something. He's
would
gonna
it be
have
on
them
YouTube or
somewhere.
anything as well? Or,
I think the end product is probably on YouTube,
but like, it's only got like a little
but
sort of snippet.
he had like a whole folder of outtakes. Actually, I think the now that you mention it, I think the actual end product has some of the outtakes in it as well at the end.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna need to hit up Lockie with this.
Yeah, we need to find
Because
that.
I think,
It's so funny.
yeah, I think, even like those watching live on Twitch here would probably love to see that, and the people who like know you already from streaming, I think they would love
Yeah.
to see that. So like, just going back then to, you mentioned you and Lockie were in a band together. What more can you tell us about like this, with like your music and everything else, like in gaming and linking that to streaming? Like, what detail can you go into that about your musical background?
Well, yeah, I mean, in terms of linking it to the streaming, that kind of was the link to the streaming. It was the fact that me and Lockie were in the band, and finding out that he streamed as well really ramped up my interest in doing it
Mm-hmm.
myself. And then obviously it all went from there. Um, yeah, in terms of musical background, I mean, my my family are very musical. Like my we go on holidays. Well, not so much anymore, but back whenever I was younger, we'd go on family holidays, and my family we called the Von Traps because every single person would get up and do karaoke,
I
so
see.
they could all sing. They could all, yeah. So like my mum can sing. Doesn't do it so much anymore. She
Mm-hmm.
probably, well, she shouldn't. She's you ever not that she's not good or anything. It's, have you ever seen Pitch Perfect and the girl's like, I've got nodes.
Yeah, unfortunately,
No,
I've seen Pitch Perfect.
unfortunately, yeah.
Oh,
my
that's a
my
whole other fucking different thing. But
yeah, my mum has nodes, so so she shouldn't sing, but she does.
mm,
She still does.
gotcha.
My dad's been singing, playing guitar. He doesn't play guitar too much anymore, but he's been singing, and he was in bands from like the 80s
Mm-hmm.
right through. He still gigs
Oh, no
now.
way! I never knew that.
More him and my sister have actually started a
Oh
little bit of a
wow,
two-piece kind of thing, doing
like a
some gigs
dual
around
vocal sort of
Belfast.
thing, is it?
Yeah, just some like backing tracks and the two of them singing
Oh,
together.
that's
So
class.
dad was in. That's how my mum and dad met. They were in a band together
No way.
back in like the 80s or whatever. Yeah.
Amazing.
So, um, yeah, he was in a band called Regatta that was big around Belfast, and
Did they
I
sell
don't know
outdoor
how
clothing
much
as well?
mountain gear, yeah, mountain hiking gear, yeah. But they were pretty big around. I'd be hesitant to say Northern Ireland as a kind of wider umbrella, but definitely Belfast.
And hesitant to say Northern Ireland based on
Yeah,
other
but
factors that we can't go into.
but yeah, you bastard.
You're on fucking camera
So,
saying that now after 12 years. I got you, you cunt.
well, this is it. So it is. So yeah, I mean, they would have been pretty well known around then. Obviously, my mum, I think she did backing singing for them and stuff, and that's how they met. So my sister sings, great singer. Only she's never really done any kind of band stuff
Yeah.
until now with my dad. Brother sings, plays guitar. He's been in bands for I keep saying this, but I feel like no one does things anymore that I'm talking about.
No, but like
But
it's still
he's
like a
not.
rich part of
Yeah,
what they've done though. It's
yeah, yeah. I mean, he was in a band called Rosie Broadway for a good, I want to say, maybe 8 to 10 years,
I remember seeing
and they
them in
did.
Sandino's in Derry back in uni.
Oh yeah, oh
Yeah,
yeah.
it's the same day as another iconic thing with up between our friendship.
You're gonna have to tell me that one offline, I think.
No, it's fine. I can say it online. I can say it online. I
Oh
just
yeah,
don't want to disrupt the flow of what we're talking
yeah,
about.
fair. Yeah, and then yeah, obviously me as well. I mean, I think I'm the only person that had to kind of look around to find what instrument they liked.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I was younger, I did some piano. I did piano lessons for maybe like 2 or 3 years,
Yeah.
and then which was a really weird experience. Just to add, so it was my primary school music teacher that offered to give me piano lessons.
From the back of a van.
Um, no, at their house, which is weird because I ended up living like 2 doors down from where they used to live. But
It'd be awkward if you
anyway,
stopped doing the piano
it's
lessons and then moved in next door. Can't afford the commute
no.
anymore.
Listen, this
Sorry.
is this is what this is whenever I was like, I probably would have been about 8 at the time.
Mm.
Um, was doing piano lessons there, but then that's when I found out that my teacher, like my what would be the word, like your standard teacher. In primary school, you would have one
Oh
teacher
yeah,
that took
yeah,
you
yeah,
for
yeah. Like
the
you're,
whole day, but then you would go down to music class for an hour or something like that,
yeah,
and then there'd be the music teacher.
yeah.
So I'd be at the music teacher's house playing piano. Next thing you know, my teacher walks past through the hall. All right, Ran. And I'm like, all right. So apparently, them two were shagging,
Oh,
which is it was a really weird moment.
always funny whenever like in school you find out that two of the teachers are in a relationship, as if it's like this whole oh my fucking god kind of moment.
Yeah,
And like,
forbidden.
yeah, exactly. Even though like it's probably the most common thing ever.
Ah, they're probably all shagging each other. They go into the
Staff room
staff
is
room.
just
They're
a
all
fucking orgy.
staff room orgy.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, so yeah, I did piano for a little bit, and then whenever I started, I'm gonna say secondary school, but then high school for all you other nerds.
Yeah. For the international
um,
audience, secondary
yeah,
school is from
high school.
11 to 17. And we do call it high school over here, but like it is mainly secondary school or
Yeah,
grammar school if you're, smart
like me.
like me. Yeah, that backfired in the minute you went
Although
to a grammar.
this, well, technically, they lost their grammar status. Well, not while I was there, so it's okay. This is probably only about 10 years ago.
Oh
that
yeah.
they lost it. Maybe more recently
Oh,
than
so
that.
like, so you were the standard then, basically, is what
Yeah,
you're telling me.
always.
You were the standard, and after you left, it all went downhill.
It all went downhill.
Yep,
Yeah,
of course.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. So whenever I can't remember, it might have been. I think it would have been my first year there.
Mhm.
That I think I did some violin
Ah,
as
no
well.
way.
Yeah, yeah. Not for long. Didn't like it too much. I think it
Yeah,
might have. No, it was piano. I did grade one at least, and I've never really been. I don't think grades. People are probably going to disagree on this, but I don't think musical grades are a good kind of tell to say if someone's good or not.
at least not the
It's
first three
just
or four for sure.
yeah, I suppose.
Like if it
Yeah, maybe
started
that
if
one.
it started at like 5
Yeah,
up to 8, then I would say yeah. But
yeah,
I
that's fair
agree
enough.
with
That's
what you're
fair
saying
enough.
for the most part. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I did some violin. Didn't really like it, and then I think obviously the next one was drums.
Yeah. Because that's all I've
Yeah,
ever known from you is as a drummer.
yeah, yeah. So that would have been whenever I want to say 13.
Yeah.
Whenever I started playing drums. And that came about kind of similarly. I think Newman said something similar on the last episode.
Mm.
But now I might be remembering this wrong, but I think he said he went on some kind of religious retreat or something like that,
Yes.
and that's
Yeah.
where he kind of got familiar with beatboxing, or at least
Well,
making
that's how he started
noises with his.
speaking Russian. That's how he
Oh
started
right,
speaking
okay,
Russian. But it was another thing. He stayed up. He was just up late during like a certain period of his life, and that's what got him into it, just
right,
from watching YouTube videos religiously of an evening.
right, okay. Oh well,
Yeah.
that's probably where the
I mean,
religious thing came into
you got
it.
like you got two parts of it, right? Just separately.
Yeah, yeah,
Still,
fair.
but yeah, same idea though. Same idea.
I'm just trying to prove that I watched the
No, yeah,
watched the last episode.
that's fine, and I appreciate your viewership.
um, but yeah, so my granny on my dad's side was well, I suppose both of my grannies were very religious.
Mhm.
So my granny on my dad's side used to take us to this. It was a bit of a religious retreat. We were young. We didn't really know what was happening, but she'd take us there, and it was just kind of yeah. There was like wee activities and shit.
Yeah.
But what they did there, and this is a long time before I actually started playing drums, but it's probably what kind of planted the seed of wanting to. They used to do this thing where they'd kind of drum on their chest,
Oh.
and it always stuck with me. So like it used to be that they'd sit and go like that,
Nice.
pretty much, and just make little beats like that,
Okay.
and I really liked that. So and whenever I'm in school, whatever, well, not anymore. I'm
No,
not in
no.
school anymore.
You know that if you're in a fucking school, then
when,
you're getting put
when
on a
I'm in,
fucking list.
when I'm in school, looking through the window. No, when I was in school, people used to get really annoyed at me because I'd have my pens and I'd just be
Oh.
tapping shit and making beats, and in my head it sounded like a beat because I'm hitting it with a bit of an accent on it, or
Yeah.
like one, so that I would know right whenever I hit it a wee bit louder, or if I hit this part of the table, that sounds like a hi hat, or if I hit here, it sounds like a snare,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing.
Snarr.
A snare.
Snarr. Look at that there.
Sorry, a snare.
Look at that there. Look at that there snare drum, mate.
Yeah. But yes, I think that's where my interest in drumming started.
Mm-hmm.
So I tried the violin, didn't like it, and then I think what happened was that I asked if there was any spaces for drum lessons, and they said no, and I would have to wait for the next year to start. So I think that's what happened, if I remember right.
Yeah.
But obviously, it wasn't then until the next year that I actually started getting lessons through the school, and that was it. That's the first instrument I found and went, this is the
Mm.
one. This is the instrument I'm
Yeah.
gonna play for as long as I can. It's a bit of a shame because I haven't actually played on a drum kit. I'd say maybe about 6 years
Happens
now.
though. Like it's all part of circumstance, isn't it? Though, really,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
and I mean,
especially
if
with
if
where you're at now in
I've
life.
yeah, I mean, I've been wanting to, and I've been pricing them up and stuff like that. I've wanted to get an electric kit
Hmm.
just because they're handy. They're handy. You can still play. They're handy. You don't have to lug them around everywhere. You can fold them up and all
Yeah,
that kind of shit. So, and we've got space in another little spare room here that would do nice for it. So
yeah. So can we expect,
at
like,
some point, at
potentially
some
any
point,
drum streams from you in the future?
that would be, yeah. I would love to do that.
I
I
think it would
would
be
love to
pretty
do it,
sick. Like,
but
yeah,
yeah,
you just
it
literally
seems like
have
I've
music playing because you just turn off your like. Well, the only thing is that the VODs would be useless, but
yeah. I
good
mean,
to
there's
watch.
people that do it. There's a couple of streamers. There's the 8-bit drummer. I watch
Yes,
a
I've
little
seen
bit.
him
If you've
before.
seen him,
Yeah,
he's really good. And then there's another one called Sunfire,
Sunfire.
I
Yes,
think.
yes. She
Yep,
does all like
she's the one that
the toad
the toad
noises.
thing. Yeah,
I was gonna
yeah,
try it, but I had no way
yeah,
I could. But yeah, I've seen her. She's pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah,
So I've seen that they're two of the ones that I've watched before, and I mean it's doable if they're not getting
yeah.
copyright
True,
striked and stuff.
true.
Their viewers are just kind of requesting songs,
Uh,
and then they're just playing whatever comes on.
how do you reckon your
So
rhythm is at the moment? I mean, you've still got to be able to do
well,
the, like the when you leave
feeling
Greg's with
yourself up.
leave Greg's with sausage roll crumbs all over you.
Or like that guy in the chair, the fucking slapping his legs and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the one. Exactly
Yeah,
that.
I
Yeah.
mean that's the thing. Although I've not been on an actual kit, I'm still doing, like I said before, I'm still tapping stuff. I'm still
Yeah, of
like,
course.
you know, I almost do it in the car, and it's confusing because my foot's actually on a pedal. So,
So you're
you
just like,
know,
going,
I'm yeah, 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 revving to the beat. So, yeah, I need to catch myself. I when I do that.
That's the problem when you've been playing drums for longer than you've actually been driving, though.
Yeah, yeah, it's true.
Yeah. So, like, on that as well. Okay, so you became a drummer.
Yep.
So then fast forward to your band that you had with Connor. How did
Yes.
that
Yep.
start out? And talk me through the story of the band.
So the band came about because basically my brother knew quite a few people through. So first of all, there was a band that he had got me an audition for, which I did get into. Didn't last very long, with someone that he went to high school with,
Mm-hmm.
and that was all good. It was all covers though, which is it's all right. It's all right, but it's always more exciting doing your own stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, so then someone that my brother went to uni with or met in uni, he didn't know him before uni, um, had the idea of having a band with their best friend, and they needed a drummer.
Yeah.
So there was, I think I'm gonna say it was like a whole summer before. I think it was maybe the year before we went to uni
Mm-hmm.
that there was like a whole summer of me and these two people talking every single day. They were sending me tracks and saying, "What can you do with this?" And then I'd record something over the top of it and send it back to them. I'd never met them in person. Didn't meet them in person until I went to uni.
Mm.
Um,
Who was that?
but that was
Sarah.
Aaron
Oh, yes, yes.
and Robin. Do you remember Robin?
Oh, yes, yes, I do. Yes, I remember Robin.
Robin would have been with us in, like, I think maybe the first night we were in the first night at uni.
I'm gonna
Whenever we
fucking
were
remember that.
at Block 5.
And I remember, but like, I also don't remember.
I remember being there.
I remember that. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, I just remember being a fucking piss head back then. But yes, no, yeah, I'd forgot
Yeah.
about yes, Aaron.
So yeah, so it was supposed to be the three of us in a band together, and then that didn't really materialize because there was plans, and whenever they were getting out of uni, I was going to uni, and
Yeah.
actually, you know what? No, it wasn't because I'm contradicting myself now. It wasn't because it was me going to uni that stopped the second band.
Oh yes, of course. Yeah, because Aaron
Pretty
didn't
much.
start until the year after us, or was
No,
was in and
so
then
Aaron
left and came
Was
back.
in, yes,
Yeah.
yes, that. So it would have been during like my A levels that the me, Aaron, and Robin were supposed to have
Yes,
a band,
that's right.
and then there was obviously the logistics of that when none of them were from Belfast other than me.
Hmm. Yeah.
um, so instead, I think Aaron was from just outside Belfast, but Robin was from
From somewhere more up north, I
Limavady.
think.
I
Yeah.
want to say, yeah, Limavady,
Yeah.
Letterkenny, something like that.
Two completely different
Um,
places that are like nowhere near each other, but fair, close.
yeah, I know something beginning with L. That's where it's
It
coming
probably
from.
was Limavady.
Yeah, that sounds right. So instead for those A level years, um, Aaron said, "Got an idea for another band that's going to be more local and easier. Do you want to do it?" And I was like, "Yes." And that was me, Aaron, Lockie, and our other good friend called Mick. And if Mick, by the way, is an absolutely fantastic bass player. It was ridiculous. The stuff that he did in our songs was crazy. Because his influence was kind of like K-pop,
Oh, all right.
but to put K-pop style bass over the kind of rock music that we were
Yeah.
doing was really fucking cool.
I'm gonna have
It
to
was
like
really
so I'm
cool.
gonna have to find your recorded track and listen to see if I can hear the bass.
The one, the one recorded
If
track.
it still exists. But I mean that was, you know, that
It'll exist. I mean, I've got them all on my
that
phone.
was a
All
good
the ones that we recorded.
that track was a good song because like what was the BBC van that was up in our uni campus that day?
It was the BBC van, mate.
Fucking no, but it was for a specific
No, I
BBC
remember that. It was
station. It
like
was like across the line or
was like
something.
Q Radio or something. Right?
No, it
Yeah,
was
no,
BBC.
across the line
BBC.
sounds right.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, because you guys got featured on the radio, I think that same day.
Yeah, I don't think it was through that truck, but I think we just submitted the song
Yeah, it
to the
was for
radio
like a
channel.
specific, yeah, because I think it was like for a specific
Yeah,
like radio hour for like up and coming artists.
yeah.
And yeah, like that, I mean, that was pretty cool. Surely that must have got you some reach, or I mean, I don't know. I mean, because you were coming into
Um,
kind of the tail end of things at that point.
sorry, you just cut out there for
Oh,
me. Can
sorry.
you repeat that?
Like you guys were coming into like the tail end of the band, really, after that song.
Yeah,
In
pretty
essence,
much.
just with uni and everything.
Yeah, pretty much
Yeah.
because Mick ended up going to Southampton for
Hmm.
uni as well, and then it all just kind of appropriately faded out.
Yeah. So, like, for reference, the band were called Fade Out Repeater.
Yeah,
Yeah, and they faded
yeah,
out, and it, ironically didn't repeat. I
yeah.
do find
No,
it so weird though. Like,
we almost did. We almost did.
I remember you telling me about
Very
this a
almost did.
number. Yeah, I remember you telling me about this a number of years ago. Yeah, that would have been
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. That would have been. I love that, and that was probably one of the last times I played drums, like on
Yeah,
an actual
it's
kit.
crazy. Like, I
But
find it weird that I've never like seen you play live. Like, it
have you
just
not?
no, I've never seen you play live.
I
I
mean,
saw your brother.
we played gigs. We've
I
played the
know.
Empire a couple of times because
Yeah, I remember.
Aaron was taught guitar
Hmm.
by Rob McCulloch
Yes, he did like
Thursday nights
the Thursday nights there. Yeah.
Thursday nights at the Empire.
Yeah, because I remember
So
I just never got around to going to see you guys.
yeah, no, that's a shame.
Then it was only like
We
very like
fucking killed the place. It's great.
see,
We got an encore in the end.
remember, yeah, I remember you showing me the video of that, and I
Yeah,
don't know, I think it was just back then it was just kind of hard for me to go out and do these things because I was going from
yeah,
fucking Derry to Newcastle. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Of course.
yeah. So hopefully there's like a resurgence for this in the future. I think it would be kind of cool to see.
Yeah, Yeah, I'd like it as well.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely. Like it'd be good for
again, the logistics these days are probably going to be.
100%. 100%. Like but yeah, I was gonna say as well, like because I haven't seen you, but I have seen your brother play.
Mhm.
And we went to go see him in Sandino's in Derry,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
that would have been 11 and a half years ago. Very, very long time
Jesus.
ago. The only reason I remember this, I will never forget this. So this is a little bit of a segue here. So Ryan and I were in uni and stayed up one weekend to go to this bar to see Ryan's brother's band who were playing. And we were walking through the streets of Derry. So I think there's a group of like maybe 4 or 5 of us. And there was these two kids, this group of kids, and two of them were having an argument. You know where I'm going with this now. You know where I'm going with it
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
You know where I'm going with this now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is legit. Like anybody listening to this, whether it be live or on any of the platforms at a later date, you're gonna sit here and think, "What the fuck? I do not understand what you're saying." But this is stuck with me and Ryan for the last 11 years. These two young kids, probably about 9 or 10 years old, having like a wee argument in the street. One of the kids says something to the other, and this kid's rebuttal was, "Aye, but your dad doesn't even drive a taxi." Where is the
No.
context? What
No
a fucking
context
comeback!
needed.
No, what a comeback! It's just like ah, you're a dick. Aye, but your dad doesn't drive a taxi. It's like way to confuse the
My
person
only
you're arguing with.
my only assumption is that the dad was claiming to be a taxi man, probably to get some sort of benefits or
Maybe,
get away from like
yeah.
cash in hand type job, and he's like, "Your dad doesn't even drive a taxi. What are you talking about?"
Or
I don't know. There's that's like
there's infinite possibilities. But
yeah.
what if it was a fake taxi? He just drove around the streets of Derry, just like doing cross community banging of all fucking lonely housewives.
Uh,
Awfully niche.
that would be a good theory if the first kid had replied to say, "Ask your ma."
Ah,
Your dad doesn't even drive a taxi. Ask your ma.
yeah,
He
fair
does.
point. Fair point.
She loved it. Or ask your dad. I'm not
Well,
judging.
yeah, that's it. I mean, that's it. You know, there's like I say, it's inclusive of everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
Fake taxi doesn't discriminate.
No, no.
So, just yeah, segue aside there. So you mentioned just a minute
Yeah,
ago how logistically with playing the drums and stuff and the position you're in like now. So like
yeah,
look, looking back, you know, to your life when you started streaming, started, you know, and all that, compare that to now, you know, you've moved away, settled down, a house, 2 dogs later. How do you find the balance to continue gaming and streaming, you know, with your current life and routine? And like how does it like compare to like back then?
back then it was obviously a lot easier because I mean I think the most popular my stream ever got was, I would say, around 2015, 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a bit later than that actually, maybe 20 from then maybe
Yeah.
through to about 2018. Basically, between being at uni, having to take a year out, go back, repeat final year, and then getting my first IT job.
Yeah.
That kind of timeline was my most popular time of streaming in terms of viewership and that kind of thing, because I had the time and I had the schedule where I wasn't working. I wasn't, I wasn't working a 9 to 5. I wasn't doing too much, and I would just sit and play games. And at the time, if I'm playing games, I'm streaming it. It doesn't matter really. I didn't care what I was playing. I was just it. If the Xbox is on,
Yeah.
Twitch is on. You know,
Yeah, fair.
uh, I mean, I used to get quite good viewership on FIFA. Actually, I would just
Mm.
sit and play career mode, and people would come in, and I wouldn't necessarily show them my ultimate team, but um,
Okay.
just almost just for you.
Oh yeah, of course. There's there's
Yeah,
context.
there's
There's
context,
context. There's always context.
but yeah, but we'll not give it. There's- yeah.
You have to
So I mean,
subscribe for that shit.
Yeah. In and around that time as well, I played a lot of Fortnite, admittedly.
Ah.
And I got like
Gunge that pedo.
fuck's sake. I got very good at it. I would say if I was playing solos on Fortnite, I got to a point where I was probably winning like 8 out of 10 games.
Jesus. Fucking touch
And
grass.
yeah, I know, but I wasn't at the time. The thing is now, like obviously I work the 9 to 5.
Hmm.
My hobbies are gaming. You know what I mean? Like most evenings I'm on my PC.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm playing games. The only difference is the games that I'm playing. At the minute, I'm again, I guess like the fifth time I've said it now. Counter Strike
Yeah.
is my game at the minute. I've been really into that for the last maybe 6 months or so at least. Maybe this time last year I had a little tournament with my previous job,
Yes, I remember. I
and
was actually going to
then
ask you about that as
yeah,
well.
yeah. So I did that, and at that point I hadn't played CS in maybe a year and a half, something like that.
Yeah, because I remember you
But
telling me about
then,
that as well. Sorry to interrupt, like, but I remember you telling
yeah,
me
you're
about
okay.
that at the time. You're like, oh yeah, I think this could be like me getting back into streaming here because there's this tournament here with work. We're
Yeah.
gonna be playing CS:GO this tournament. Do you
Mhm.
remember my response to that?
No.
Good. Embarrassingly enough, because I didn't know what the fuck CS:GO was.
Oh, I do remember it. I do remember it now.
Go on. What was my response?
I don't remember it
It doesn't have to be.
verbatim,
Yeah, it doesn't have to be
but
verbatim.
it was essentially along the lines of you thinking like you didn't realize that CS was as big as it was.
Yeah, pretty much. I
You is
goes, is that racing game? Couldn't even be any fucking further from a racing game.
yeah, no, it led into quite the debate between us, didn't
Oh
it?
yeah, it
In
did.
terms of
I
what
I
it was the most played games in history, kind
I
of
was a bit
along
wet
those
behind the
lines.
ears in terms of like gaming and streaming at this point. So don't
Yeah.
hold that shit against me.
No, I don't. I don't. At all.
Better not.
uh, but yeah, so as I say, CS is what I'm playing mostly at the minute.
Hmm.
The thing is with that, and I would love to stream it, but it's such a toxic game. It is such a toxic environment to be in.
Yeah.
When games aren't going your way, you get frustrated. I don't like showing that kind of side of myself
No, of
on
course,
stream.
of course.
And I know people like maybe it sounds like I'm being fake in terms of I only show a certain side of me when I'm streaming.
Not at all.
I just it's not even that,
Hey.
but it's um no, it genuinely isn't even about that. It's just people wouldn't like watching
Mm.
if like it's just me being conscious of if I was watching someone getting angry at a game. Okay, there's certain people who play games and like and scream at the you've got
Yeah.
Speed, for example. He
That
sits
guy.
and screams and he gets millions of views for it, and you're
He's a
like, right,
fucking
okay,
godshit
whatever.
though. But yeah,
Yeah,
that aside.
but you get the point. Like, I'm not, I wouldn't be screaming at the screen,
Yeah.
but I'd be visibly getting frustrated, and you'd be able to see that I wasn't having a good time.
Yeah, and that's arguably worse than
And
just screaming at you.
yeah,
Because you can have outbursts, but then it's like
yeah,
road rage. You have an outburst, you're fine after that. But if you're like looking and you're like, fuck, if it becomes a drag and you're not enjoying it, the people watching you are not going to enjoy it either. That's like
yeah,
I think that's like a
yeah,
general
exactly.
like rule of thumb in terms of streaming.
Yeah. And so the thing is that the people that I'm playing games with most at the minute are all CS. So
Uh-huh.
we do have a full team. So you can the danger with CS is because it's such a toxic environment. You can only control what your teammates say to a certain degree.
Yeah, of
It's
course.
but the other team, you can't.
Yeah.
You, the thing is, you can't say I'm streaming. Can you not
Oh yeah,
be
because
offensive and
that's
stuff? Because
that's
one, they're
just an
probably gonna be
invitation.
offensive.
Yeah.
One, they're probably gonna be offensive, and two, if they know you're streaming, they're gonna come watch your stream and
Oh yeah,
and
there's
find
just
out
like screen cheating and
where
shit
you
like
are.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's yeah,
Is
exactly, and just stream snipe you.
that not
So
even worth the viewership?
no, well, that's it. That's I suppose that's the it's the kind of balance because for that tournament that I'm talking about last year,
Yeah.
I put I think it was maybe a 3 minute delay on the stream. So
Yes, I
anything that was
remember.
on the screen was 3 minutes behind what was actually happening in real life. So it made it so that whatever people were watching was probably around behind what was actually happening.
Yep.
So it meant if anyone was watching, they're not going to be stream sniping. But it also meant that people who were typing in chat weren't getting the interaction, weren't getting
Yeah.
the immediate, at least the immediate interaction.
Yeah,
If
of
they're
course.
typing something in a chat, I'm not seeing it till at least 3 minutes later.
Yep. I
And if I'm
remember
in the
that.
middle
Yeah.
of a round, then I'm not going to see it till like 5 minutes later. And by that point, the context is completely gone,
Yeah.
and they're probably not even going to remember what I'm replying to.
Yeah, 100%.
So,
I remember like falling victim into that because you just when you go into
yeah,
a stream, you just naturally you're kind of like talking into it, just being like, oh yeah,
yeah,
this, that, and the other, and then you don't get a response. You're kind of like, oh yeah, of course, delay, and then you
yeah,
forget again 3 minutes later once you get your response, and then etc. It just goes on.
yeah,
That was fun. I was actually, I mean, obviously, I'm not like a fan of CS:GO, but it was definitely like fun to watch.
yeah.
It was
They did a
intense
good
as shit.
production,
Like it
to
was,
be
yeah,
fair,
the production of it, like of that tournament,
because
was incredible.
for it wasn't it wasn't like an esports company at all that hosted it.
No,
It was another. So for the listeners, I worked at a Bitcoin company, and it was another Bitcoin exchange, one of the big ones in America that organized this event, and they sorted it out. They got people in to cast, to commentate and stuff like that, and had this whole production. And the production value is very good for it, I thought.
oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I remember like punditry, commentary, everything. Like it was the real deal. You would have thought it was like a genuinely an esports company who
Yeah,
were running it. Like it was brilliant.
yeah.
So then,
Mm.
what then do you think the future holds for the Mighty Ryan? Like, what do you have any things that you want to do in regards to your streaming? Because I know like since you got back into it through there, it has been like only a casual as and when you can sort of thing. But is this
Yeah,
something that you want to like develop on, or is this something you're just happy enough with? Kind of, if you find a game and you kind of like, here, I could stream this. This would be kind of fun. I could just
yeah,
go kind of like that. Like, what's your thoughts?
yeah. Well, I mean, for me, I always like, and I say this to anyone really that I'm talking about this too.
Hmm.
I always want to get back into streaming more regularly. I know I've done it. Like my streams are very dotted around at the minute.
Yeah,
Uh, as I say, part of that is because of playing CS and playing games that are a bit ropey in terms
of
of
course.
what other people might say. Even at that, I used to stream a lot of Sea of Thieves, and oh, okay, it's a really fun game, but sometimes you came across the odd, because it's all proximity chat on there. You came
Yeah,
across some people, I'd be playing with one of my friends who is a member of the LGBT plus community. We would have a rainbow flag at the top of our ship, and there would be people who came after us because of that,
yeah.
and shouting slurs and everything. And I mean, I have been live when that happened before, but on the plus side, obviously that's all shit. The plus side of it is that we had the video evidence to report
Yeah, of
them.
course, of course. That's
So there's that side of it as well. But you don't want to have to go through that really,
no, of course not. Like,
and you
and
don't want to have to sit and, I mean, obviously that's not a good. Sorry, taking that Sea of Thieves example aside, in terms of like CS, if someone, you know, people use the N word quite a bit on there,
yeah,
and the
like
R word,
going
and
back to fucking like
it's
2010 COD lobbies
yeah,
kind of thing, isn't it? Really, just
yeah,
it's
it's some of the stuff that gets said on there is pretty disgusting, like,
yeah, like
and
you grow out of that stuff, you know. People like
yeah,
some people laugh at it when they're fucking teens, but like you grow out of it, and it's just like ugh,
yeah.
cringe.
But then if you're the streamer and that
Yeah,
comes up, then
Oh yeah, you're fucked.
you feel responsible for what everybody is saying, and you kind of
100%.
are. You're responsible for what is on your stream.
Yeah, like if you're the one broadcasting that, it doesn't matter if
Yeah.
somebody else is saying that. Like it would be no different than if you were to come on here and start spiting those words. Fucking
Yeah.
do not do it, by the way. You fucking better. Do not get me
I know.
cancelled 6 episodes in.
But yeah, I mean, I've seen Counter Strike streamers have like a blur effect in the bottom corner where the chat would be,
Yeah, of course.
so that you don't actually see what's being said
Probably a good
in the
shout,
chat.
actually, to be honest.
But then there's voice chat,
Yeah.
and you can't filter that. You can't,
No.
and it's unless you completely turn the game audio for the stream. Like if you control it in
Yeah.
OBS and turn the game audio, that what's you're losing
Yeah,
half
it's
of the.
like it's a waste then.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
not getting the full value of playing the
No,
game.
of course. Yeah.
But
I
other sorry, go
no, no,
ahead.
no, no, no. Go.
Oh, I was just gonna say, other than that, obviously there's other games that I do like. I've recently started playing that Guardians of the Galaxy game. I'd
Hmm.
love to get back into that whenever I can. And it's normally I get home and my mates are looking to play CS, so I just jump on there.
Yeah, of course.
But but whenever I have the time, I'm gonna be playing more of that Guardians of the Galaxy and stream it. I like those games because they don't take long. There's good points to stop at,
Yeah.
especially like the Walking Dead ones,
Yeah, of
because it's the
course.
same. It's the same company. The Walking Dead ones are broken up into episodes.
Yeah, and you were doing like an episode per
Each
stream,
season,
weren't
yeah,
you? Yeah.
yeah, and they can take like I think it might have only been like an hour and a half or so,
Something like that,
but it was
yeah.
just a good. But it was just a good wee get
Hi.
home after work, have some food, have dinner, chat for a bit, and then get up onto the PC. Hour and a half stream.
Yeah, and it's like
Nice,
that good level
nice wee
of
bit of content.
consistency as well. Yeah, like you say, nice bit of
Yeah,
content. It's that good level of consistency where you can do one episode and then it's just like, you want to see more? Come back tomorrow. Come back this day. Come
yeah,
back that day, or whenever.
yeah,
So that's good that you're able to do that. Um, yeah, I think so. Really, what you're saying is like it's a matter of just having that free time to just kind of stream these games when you're not playing like CS:GO or anything that might not be good for a stream, kind of thing.
yeah. Pretty much. What I would say as well is um, there's a bit of stream anxiety in there as well.
Mm.
I know it's people might go, oh, boo hoo, you
No,
streamer can't click a button or whatever, but
they don't
but
understand.
it's no, they don't. You don't know what it's like. But the thing is, I mean, it is a thing. The amount of times that I've sat ready to play a game,
Hmm.
have OBS up on the other screen to say, I feel like streaming this, and then just go on, no. And
Yeah.
it's and then just not doing it. It's part of it is because of it. I guess it's a bit of a catch-22 because you get stream anxiety because you're not streaming for long periods of time, but
Hmm.
then because you're not streaming for long periods of time, you're not going live, and then you're not,
Yeah.
you feel like you. I mean, at this point, I probably have. Well, I mean, I have lost the viewers I would have had like 5, 6 years ago or whatever.
Hmm.
Like that goes without saying. Those people are probably all doing their own thing now, and fair play to them. But
Yeah, it's like
um,
the consistency thing is like it's is very important. Like it's hard to do.
yeah,
Like unless you have the time, it is incredibly hard to do. The consistency, it just is make or break because some
yeah,
people are like it's part of their schedule as well, watching you as a streamer. It's like, oh yeah, it's Wednesday, some CS:GO from the Mighty Ryan.
yeah,
But then once you stop, it's kind of like people just go off to like other domains and find
yeah. They'll
other
just find someone
things.
else who's doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Like audience retention is like it can be like a fucking cruel thing, like as a streamer, like generally. And that I
yeah,
think I 100% understand that's where like the anxiety comes from because you're like, fuck, like, I could just sit and play this game by myself and enjoy it all the same. But like
yeah,
if I hit this button here, are people gonna like it? Are people gonna complain? Are people gonna just give a shit? It's like it's so easy to like get into your own head about these sorts of things, and
Yeah,
it's so damaging, especially I think as well. I mean, I can't really talk for your specific situation, but the fact that you did take so many years off, it's like
yeah,
you're building back up from square one again.
pretty much, pretty much. Um, yeah, I mean, let's say I'm trying to hit the live button whenever I'm playing something that I feel like is just
Yeah.
going to be a bit more chill. Whenever I used to play, let's say whenever I played Fortnite, was probably Fortnite and FIFA
Yeah.
about 6, 7 years ago, was probably the most popular my stream would have been, and that would have been playing or streaming these because I was good at the game,
Uh-huh.
and streaming to be competitive, to try and be competitive and try and get wins and maybe impress people. Like, not I don't now I don't really care about any of that. I'm just gonna stream something that I'm gonna chill with.
Yeah. And I think that's definitely like a nice transition as well. When you look at like your current life, like I
Yeah,
mentioned, you're settled down. This is like something you do solely for fun, which is like
yeah,
a good thing,
yeah,
as it really should be. There are more there are more important things than like hitting 30 and being like, okay, this is going to be my job here. I got to put it
yeah.
all
I
on the
mean, don't
line.
don't don't get me wrong. If we won the lottery,
Oh yeah,
me and
fucking 100%.
Amy have talked about this scenario loads. It's if we won the lottery, I would try and do streaming like full
Yeah.
time.
Oh, same.
Kind of that. I mean,
100% same.
if you won enough money that you didn't have to work anymore and you were, yeah, first
Exactly.
about
Yeah. If you had like nothing else to lose, yeah,
yeah,
fucking go
yeah.
for it. But yeah. Yes, Ryan, it has been an absolute pleasure having you on behind the camera today. I appreciate you taking the time out to come join me and just have a chat and let the audience get to know you just a little bit better. Do you have any final words for the listeners today?
I do actually, yeah, because
Oh,
I knew that you were going to ask this. You
yeah, of
see, and
course.
so I thought I'd think of some final words. So I've come up with Mer, Tal, parallelogram, mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, and the last one is more of a question to ponder, right? Just something to think about. Nothing profound. Just think about it. If your ma wasn't your ma, would you?
Fuck me. Oh wow. What a
in all
yeah,
serious,
what a
in all
what
seriousness, though, if I can just butt in again, thanks for having me. Thanks for having me on. I have to say, for being I'm kind of your guy in the chair for whenever you started streaming, and I couldn't be more proud of where you are
well, thank you,
now
man.
with it.
Appreciate that. I do
Obviously, because
appreciate it.
for those that don't know, I gave Andy the Elgato capture card that
Yes.
started him off,
That's right. Yes, my capture card that I
and
have courtesy of Ryan.
that is the beginner, the streaming beginner capture card, because my cousin actually gave me that whenever he realized that I was streaming
And
as
whenever I
well.
move on from
And
this
that's
capture card, I will make sure I
but
leave it
the
in good hands.
yeah, yeah, because
Okay.
that's what made me go from streaming directly from the Xbox to having a bit of production value and on via laptop, and then the exact
Yeah,
same route that you took, got a PC, and then it's all, and
100%.
then I
Yeah,
didn't need the
never
capture
look
card
back.
anymore, so it was all
Yeah,
yours.
that's it. Well, thank you very much. And I appreciate the kind words as well, man. It has been, yeah, thank you. Because it's nice being able to do this, being able to get to interview people and like, let like the wider communities know more about just other streamers and just things like that. Like I don't want to use a term that we have been subject to by a certain gamer. Hello, I like to support small streamers, but you know what I mean. So I'm by no means fucking
Yeah.
big myself, but yes, man,
No.
thank you so much again. So yes, for everybody listening, my name is AndyGames_94. My guest today has been the Mighty Ryan. You can find this podcast on Spotify, Apple Music, and Apple Podcasts, sorry, and Amazon Music. I fucked it up. It's live. Leave me alone.
Right at the end.
Right
Right
at
at
the
the
end, it
end.
was
We're
all
going
fine
so
until the
well.
very end. I know. Yeah, so on Spotify, you're on Apple Music. I've said it again. Oh my fucking days. You know where we are. You know where we are. It doesn't matter. I don't need to
episode
say
6.
this. It's episode 6. Yeah, exactly. You know by now. I check the analytics every week. Yes, I've been AndyGames. Thank you so much. You can find us on Twitch at AndyGames_94, and you can find TheMightyRyan at Twitch under TheMightyRyan as well. I'm making a fucking butchers of this here. Guys,
just end it.
I will. Thank you so much for listening. We will be back again with another guest. The next episode will be the last episode for a short while, but we will be back bigger than ever. Until then, guys, we will see you next time. Thank you very much.